Hi everybody, welcome to part 2 of graphs and statistics. This module is exploring statistical techniques, but specifically measures of the middle, which are sometimes called measures of central tendency. And you may be familiar with them perhaps from school, perhaps from your work outside of school. And these are the mean, the median and the mode. Something I thought I'd draw your attention to was a fairly recent unit standard that's now available from the NZQA, Unit Standard 26626, and this is around interpreting statistical information for a purpose. Where I found this useful is working with employees in the workplace. Some of them have appreciated a unit standard and others haven't, but this is a really good unit standard that complements your work on teaching statistical skills, reading of graphs and charts and tables and so on, and this one complements it really nicely. I just thought I'd read you out one of the notes on the evidence criteria in the unit standard. Each of the 4 general features must be used at least once across the data sets. For example, the mean could be used in one activity and the interquartile range could be used in another. Now the reason I read that out to you is simply to show you that the mean and the interquartile range are 2 particular features that can be used with this unit standard, and just to give you an idea of where the unit standard is sitting. We're going to be looking at the mean in this particular module, and in the next module we'll be looking at the interquartile range. If you cast your mind back to statistics in school, you may have been familiar with measures of central tendency, or finding the middle of a set of data, and perhaps you had a whole lot of activities. Often this is called the average, and it sort of changes where you go. The average often refers to all 3, but really in a New Zealand context the average should refer to just one of these. And so I have a couple of ways of trying to remember which of each these are. So the first one is the mean. Now, unfortunately in some towns mean is the average, and in this town usually when you hear the word average they are specifically referring to the mean and not to the other techniques. In some cases the average refers to one of the other 3. It can become a little bit confusing. So for the purposes of this module, when we speak of the mean, that's the same as the average. You might have come across the median. And the way I remember the median is the middle of the road. It's the partition that runs between 2 highways, and it is that area that runs straight down the middle of the road. So that is the median, the middle. And of course there's the mode. And the mode is simply which one there is the most of. And, maths humour was never that funny. That's not bad. So the mode is really easy, which one there's the most of. The median is simply the middle in terms of the middle of the road, and the mean is what we know of as the average. So what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at how we find each of these pieces of data, or measures of data is better, and then I'll give you an activity to see how you go. So here's the scenario for finding the mean. Daryl records the amount of minutes it takes for 2 staff to load a truck with product every day for 6 days. He records the following times in minutes. Okay, so here we have our data. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 data points, and you can see that these 2 staff have loaded up the truck. One day it took 22 minutes, and another day it took 27 minutes, 17 on another. And so we want to work out what the mean is. For any analysis, the numbers should be put in order from smallest to largest. Now, strictly speaking, you don't have to do this to find the mean, but it will make your analysis of the data easier later on. So it's probably just a good habit to get into if you can. So there they go. So, how do we work out the mean? We add all the numbers and divide by how many there are. So, 17 plus 19 plus 21 plus 22 plus 22 plus 27 is 128. And we know that there are 6 data points, so we divide the total by 6, and the mean is 21.3. Now here's the question: if you ask Daryl how long it takes for 2 of his staff to load that truck, and he said 21.3 minutes, based on what you know of the data, is that a good representation of it? 21.3 minutes. Finding the median. The median is the middle number in the series, and to find it you can count in from both sides. So we've got the first numbers there, second numbers, and we're left in the middle with 21 and 22. If there are 2 numbers in the middle, take the mean of the 2 numbers, which would mean we add those 2 together and divide them by 2. That would give us the median, 21.5. Now there is a formula for working out the median that we're going to look at in the next module. This is one way of doing it. This is the way I remember doing it roughly in 4th form, I think. But there's a slightly more sophisticated way that we'll look at in the next module. But basically you're looking for the middle numbers, and if there's 2 in the middle, then find the mean of those 2. So again, if you ask Daryl, hey, how long does it take for 2 staff to load a truck, and he said 21.5 minutes, is that a fair representation of the data that we've seen? We know that sometimes it takes 17, or it did take 17 minutes once and 27 another time. Finding the mode. The mode is the number that is the mode stop. And if you have a look at that data, you can see pretty quickly that there are 2 22s. Therefore the mode is 22. There are no numbers that appear more than other numbers, and there is no mode. If there are 2 or more numbers that appear more than both of the mode, there can be more than one mode. Now some people have argued and said, oh, the mode is not a particularly good measure then to apply to this data, and that's correct, because the mode could have been 2 17s. Something interesting with the mode is the larger your data, the more accurate the mode is. So we're getting to that stage where we're starting to select the right kind of tool for the right data. So we've got 3 pieces of data back, and they're all around 21 and 22. Does that really give us a good representation of how long it takes 2 staff to load that truck? And that's just a thought I'll leave with you for now. Just to recap, the mean is the average, the sum of all data divided by the number of data points. The median is found at the midpoint of all the data. In the mode, the data that there is the most of. Okay, so I have an activity for you, and for a lot of people this is the first time they've seen this material since school. It's floating around in their memory somewhere, so this would be a good opportunity to apply it. I'm going to show you a problem on the following page, and I'd like you just to note down the numbers and have a go at it between watching this one and the next session, which is part 3. And in part 3 I'll give you the answers and see how you go and see if your answers match up the same. So here's a scenario. 2 identically resourced pack sheds grade and pack fruit. The amount of fruit graded and packed is measured by how many full truckloads of fruit stacked on pallet are shipped out every day. Over the course of 7 days, the following measures are recorded. So for pack shed 1, they ship out 5, 4, 6, 9, 6, 7 and 5 over that week. Pack shed 2 on the other hand, 9, 8, 3, 8, 3, 7 and 7. What I'd like you to do is describe the difference between the 2 pack sheds using statistical methods, and in particular the statistical methods we just looked at, the median, the mean and the mode. Try to determine which shed is performing better than the other. So jot down those numbers if you like, or you could do a screen save. And there'll be a big reveal at part 3. See if your answers are the same as mine. So finally, in summary, We're exploring statistical techniques, and we're looking at measures of the middle, or measures of central tendency, and in particular the mean, the median, and the mode. And these can be assessed against using the unit standard that we looked at as well. Hey, thanks for your time, and have a great day.